Greetings and welcome to the Warrington Wolves podcast. Today we'll be discussing the Challenge Cup semi-final, our predictions on Warrington Rovers versus Catalan Dragons and Warrington Wolves versus Leigh Leopards. Okay, let's start off with our first game with Warrington Rovers versus Catalan Dragons. Now I'm looking at the squads here. OKR's got a really interesting squad here. They've got Mikey Lewis, they got Minchella, they got Leyland, who's recently started and did pretty well at Magic Weekend. I think with OKR, I do think they would have a chance of winning this. With Catalan's side, I couldn't find the squads for some reason, so I apologise for that. But there's something about this game that I feel like is going to be different. Like, I know people will love Mikey Lewis and whatever, he's going to do some stuff. But, right, I'm going to be honest here, I don't like Mikey Lewis. He's a good player, but he's unsportsmanship and arrogant. And this is my opinion, so just calm down, please. But looking at OKR in the past, with situations like this, they either go through simple, like they could do with this game with Catalan, or they struggle or flop. And I noticed this a lot. Look at them in the grand final or the final in the Challenge Cup 2 years ago. I do see a bit of a struggle for OKR. Same with Catalan. Catalan did pretty well at Magic Weekend. I think they should have worked on a few more stuff. But I reckon Catalan have a big chance here. If OKR don't turn up today, then Catalan's going to overrun them straight away. I know Catalan has had their struggles, but same again. Catalan have had where they've got to big stages and they've just flopped. And that's common, that's normal for a team. But like when they were in the grand final for 2023, they just couldn't win or get a single point that game. But again, OKR, I don't see them properly playing like they normally do. I see them struggling at times, and then somehow in a part of the game they'll start getting the rhythm and start scoring again. So my predictions for OKR versus Catalan Dragons, I reckon 30 points to 14 to OKR. OKR will make it to Wembley. Now moving from the subject of Catalan versus OKR, we're moving on to our wonderful side of the Warrington Wolves versus the Leigh Leopards. Now this is going to be a tight game for Warrington because of how many injuries they got. Most of the team has been injured this season, and all Warrington fans, including myself, can agree we cannot get proper players playing in situations like this with this many injuries, especially while George Williams is out, and he is like one of our best players to captain and give tactics. I reckon Sam Burgess will somehow and hopefully get some tips to himself and give advice to these players and the pressure, because they need to get to Wembley at least, just to show that they could do something this season, not just to flop again like every year we do. We want us to try and move into the future again, try and show that we're still confident with a weak team. But looking at Warrington's squads, we got Mark Sneed back, so our kicking will be way more better, hopefully. We got Matty Ashton back on the wing. I was a bit confused with that because apparently he was injured last week and now he's playing again. So I reckon if he's still injured, then he's probably playing on it just for the semi-final. But I've got to go back to Magic Weekend last week. I think we were lucky to even get 2 points behind Wigan. Wigan played awful, and I've heard that from others as well, but we were horrendous. I reckon. I just still don't understand why Stephen Ratchford is still being placed, unless he's got to be 18th man. But we do see the likes of Adam Holroyd back, which I do like. He's a good player for a youngster, and I like young players in our Warrington Academy or from other clubs because they show skill and strength. And now looking to Leigh Leopards. So moving on to the Leigh Leopards, they've got a pretty strong squad. Still, they got Josh Charnley back on the wing, so he'll probably score some bangers against us. You got Noel Lachlan Lamb, you've got Armstrong still going on. They've got a pretty decent squad. They've got some good forwards coming out. You got Jack Hughes and everyone like that. But the only concern for Warrington is Leigh come out in situations like these. They will bring a crowd, they bring players performing well, and this is what scares me. When we play Leigh, that Leigh's going to come out way more better than us, and they'll want it more because it's a big game and they always want it. They always want to be there to win it, like Magic Weekend, for example. And when it comes to Warrington with big games, I'm sorry to say this, but we always bottle it. Especially last year, Vegas. You got Vegas, we bottled that. We bottled the Challenge Cup final. I say we bottled the semi-final. We did, but we were robbed by one try, but we're not going to talk about that. But I think it's going to be a difficult game. Both sides, I think, will be good, but I think both sides will have big problems, and I reckon the scores will be close. For a score, I'd reckon 16-12 to Warrington. I think it's going to be a close one. Sneed's going to do some assists with Matty Ashton, but I think it's going to be a dead close game and a really good one to entertain everyone. When it comes to these semi-finals, it shows what teams can do, what teams can change of themselves. You've had Salford in 2020 who beat us with a comeback in lockdown, and you've had Hull KR beat Wigan by a drop goal. And it shows, and especially with clubs lower down leagues, it shows what other clubs can do, how they play, the way they act, the performance they can do. It's incredible what stuff like these can do. Especially when it comes to Wembley, it's showing that you've come all this way in a cup, you're one of the best currently, and it shows that your team has passion and you try your best. You show that to your fan base you can do something. You can show them that you have a saying and you know how to play. I'd like to thank everyone for watching. I'll give more updates on later in the Super League and the Challenge Cup. Hopefully tomorrow Warrington beat Leigh Leopards. So I'll see you guys next time. Come on, Wire.